We ready to get autistic?
I don't know. You mean the part that I prepared for has to be the autistic part?
I've got something autistic too. So.
Okay, this is the autistic segment.
Whoop, whoop.
Autism's coming back in a major way.
It is. Well, hey, check this out. Autism is cool again.
They're calling it the greatest. I don't know. I have nothing. Oh, what were you going to do as autistic?
Mine might be like so autistic that it might kill the vibe of the show. So I want to really do mine last.
Okay, so I've been watching a lot of game shows lately. A lot of old Price is Right. And I was surprised because I grew up watching the Price. Did you watch any game shows when you were a kid? Were they ever on in the evening?
Yes, I liked Wheel of Fortune. And I remember in school learning about Let's Make a Deal. And every now and then that show would be on. So I would watch that. It was like whoever had the craziest costume would go up. And I don't remember what the actual game show was. But in order to be selected to go and be a contestant, you had to have like a creative costume. So the whole audience had like really funny costumes.
I think Wayne Brady's been hosting that. I don't know if it was on for I don't know the years that was on. I didn't watch a lot of that. Wheel of Fortune, I was watching it recently and I thought it was very funny because, people like yell out their answers. They're like, B, C, like across, and that's just funny because that was probably like a relic of like when they didn't have microphones in front of everybody. So people are still just yelling out letters for no reason, even though you can just hear them be like, could I get a B?
Yeah.
But yeah, Wheel of Fortune's great. So, but yeah, so mostly I've been watching The Price is Right, and The Price is Right is crazy because I watched that growing up, like during the day, and I didn't realize like that Bob Barker was such a piece of shit.
I didn't either.
And so because people love him, they're like, oh, Bob Barker, he's like one of the greatest game show hosts ever. Price is Right is great. I'll preface it with this. I still like the show. I don't hate Bob Barker, but he's like, so anytime a woman comes on The Price is Right, which is mostly like the show is on at like 10 a.m. every day or whatever. So it's literally just geared for like women who are at home
and single moms getting child support.
Yes. So he's like, the one thing that's sort of annoying, he's very touchy feely. He's like grabs onto people, pushes them off. I think he's like has some sort of like control freak. He's like a control freak kind of guy where he likes to run his game show the way he wants to run it and everything. But like one time it came back from a commercial break and this woman was up there and he's like, now everybody, Janine's got something to tell us. What is it, Janine? She's like, well, I'm a general manager at the General Electric. And he's like, how many general managers are there? And she's like, oh, like 400. He's like, sounds like anybody could be a general manager. My favorite one though was this lady came up and she had like a belt. She had a belt on. She takes her belt off and she's acting all weird. She has this nervous energy to her. And Bob's like, why did you take your belt off? And she like didn't answer for a second. She's like, well, it's just, I'm getting too fat. It's too tight on me. And he goes, well, the rest of your clothes look too tight too. And so the audience starts booing Bob Barker. And he's like, why is this audience turning on me right now? He's like, she said that the belt was too, so like, it sounds like a fat joke, right? He's like,
yeah.
Oh, her clothes are all getting too tight. She had to take her belt off. So he's calling her fat.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, you guys, she said that it was too tight, so she took her belt off. I was telling her that the rest of her clothes were too tight, so she would take those off too. So he just turned it from a fat joke to just being.
I thought he was going to say like, I meant tight isn't cool.
Yeah.
Like she looks too cool, folks.
Yeah, I don't know. He's hip on the lingo, but that's So the audience was booing him. I'd never seen them turn against him like that. And the other thing too is, well, I'm trying to think if there's other things he's done, but he always has stuff like that where he's like, how about you and your little husband, like hit on a girl and find out she's married. He's like, good luck with you and your little husband. He's just mean. And all the models look like shit on here. By the way, we're watching The Price is Right.
It's going on.
If you thought I was paying attention at all. The other thing about this show is the prizes suck. And that was like disappointing because I always thought that was the great thing about The Price is Right is that was unique. It wasn't you just left with cash. You had something cool. But the prizes themselves are always like geared to the wrong person when they get up there, except this one time an Asian lady was up there and they just happened to have a wok.
Oh wow.
They like bid on this wok. This is 1980. No white person was using a wok.
Yeah, what the heck?
In 1980. But they'll have like a 350 pound guy on there and they'll be like a new 1984 Chrysler Plymouth. And it's just this tiny car that has no leg room. And this 400 pound fucking guy isn't going to fit in the car. And then, or you'll have like some like 50-year-old like bull dyke lesbian and they'll be like a new crib, and it's like, oh, she doesn't need this.
Yeah.
Or it's just stuff too.
What is this shot? It's like he looks gigantic and she looks tiny. What this forced perspective.
The set design also very crazy.
It is. I would love to see this in real life to see how small it is, because I know a lot of sets are way smaller in real life. Oh, here we go. We just have a laundry commercial now instead.
Yeah, this Pluto thing that I watch all this old stuff on, it's just like an app where you can watch stuff for free. It has like a lot of this
Do you have
stuff.
batteries?
No.
Okay, wait, hang on.
What, are we about to die?
Hello, I'm Saul Goodman. Well, this is embarrassing, Your Honor. That's you, by the way. You, the listener, Your Honor. My client Steve and Steven simply made an oopsie, if you will. Now, I understand the podcast has been going for just over 5 minutes, so let's get down to brass tacks. Steve stopped the recording to take out the dead batteries from his Zoom H4n audio recorder. After replacing the batteries, my clients were under the impression that Beavis over here hit record, which he didn't do. To make up for this, the boys had to, well, start this section over and pretend like they were having the conversation you're about to hear for the first time. Did they pull it off? Well, you be the judge, and I'll be the lawyer.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Were we not recording anything
Not
that whole
part.
time?
No, I'm sorry.
Like, how far back?
Like until I changed the batteries.
Holy shit,
I'm
man.
sorry. So I've got questions about the prices.
Okay,
Right.
and I'll be able to answer them much
Lightning
faster.
fast. So Bob Barker, has he always been the host?
I'm going to be able to deliver this like this is the first time we've
I know
done
I
this.
can't do it. I don't know why. I feel like it's funny. It's funny because like sometimes I imagine I'm like, okay, maybe I'm gonna have to tell Steven like, hey, I know we talked about this when we weren't recording, but when we are recording, here's a little inside trick. You have to pretend like it's the first time. But every time we try to do something like that, I just laugh the whole. I should only tell that to myself.
For those of you who are confused, the batteries died when we were recording. We'll leave it at that.
Yes.
What questions do you have about The Price is Right? We'll start there.
Has Bob Barker always been the host?
He has. Yes, he has. And he also resigned in
That's
2011.
interesting. Okay.
Drew Carey took over.
Nerdy guy.
Well, he's not so nerdy. I'm just literally redoing.
I was trying to interject and say, I heard Bob Barker. That's funny because I heard Bob Barker resigned in 2011.
He resigned in 2011. He was the host. Before that, he did a show called Truth or Consequences, which he did for like 20 years. So he had a whole other career as a game show host before he even did The Price is Right.
But controversial guy. He wasn't. People who worked with him weren't
Yes.
fans of him.
That is accurate. A couple models quit, probably like back in the 80s, maybe early 90s,
We're good.
for like sexual harassment kind of stuff. So yeah, he didn't have a great reputation. He seemed difficult to work with. He
He had only done The Price is Right. He wasn't like an act in movies or anything.
Yeah, he originally was like a radio. He like went to school
Okay.
for like radio stuff. I think he was on radio, and then they needed a host to take over Truth or Consequences. He did that for like 20 years. I don't know how long. And then it was The Price is Right until 2011. And then Drew Carey took over, who gets fat and skinny, and he can't pick a side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making fun of fat people. I love fat people, but I'm just saying, pick a side, right?
Yeah.
He said Drew Carey was boring, which I think is a fair criticism of him. And they also did not invite him back for the 40th anniversary, which he found to be disrespectful. I think it's a
Wow.
little disrespectful, even though he's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But
How old was he because from what I understand, he's about to turn 99.
yes, he'll be
So
turning
he had to have
99.
been old anyway. Like people could run from him. You know,
Well-
he could be put in a spot where he has to like go up a lot of stairs. So he would just, the environment could be set up in a way to where he would just be by himself.
He was very old. I mean, I'm just going to try some basic math here. He quit 11 years ago, so he was like almost 90 when he quit. I mean, he was very old. I think he chilled out when he got older, because that would have been what I was watching.
Ran out of
And this
energy.
just fucking, this
Yeah,
TV
it's
just froze.
frozen, yeah.
Okay, who cares? But
Now, did this happen? Is it true that he had to take a leave of absence for a few months because when a contestant incorrectly guessed something, he said, "The price is wrong, bitch"?
Are you asking this as a joke?
Yeah.
It went over my head, folks. Is that the joke in Happy Gilmore?
Yeah,
Is that what you're alluding to?
Yeah,
I forget. I thought that's what you're referencing, but I could not remember what happened in that.
I don't know what the
He
context
fights
of it
with
was.
Happy Gilmore in that too, right? Which
I
that
don't
was
know.
that
I
was
don't
actually improvised. That wasn't a scripted part.
That is crazy.
He just got mad at Adam Sandler and started attacking him.
Yeah.
So it's
Well, Adam Sandler as a cinematographer, he loves those candid moments. So
yeah. They asked him. They said Bob said, because later Bob apologized to Adam Sandler and said, "You can cut this if you want out of your movie." And he said the raw emotion and anger
yeah,
has to be left in. So
it's like, even though at the time I didn't like it, the artist in me knew what we were creating.
I watched this documentary when it came out, 2017, called Perfect Bid, The Contestant Who Knew Too Much. And it's about this guy, Ted Slauson. And basically, he was like a super fan, like when he was a kid, and he would memorize like all the prices, and he had like all the spreadsheets and stuff. And then when he finally turned 18, he like kept going. I don't know how many tapings he went to total, or he might still, who knows. But he would just like yell out answers, and he'd have like the exact right answer. So when people like found out who he was, then people would like listen for his answer in the audience, and he started like feeding people the answers. And I honestly, this is so bad on me, but I don't remember if he actually ever got on The Price is Right.
Okay.
Because there was a guy that guessed the Showcase Showdown. So the last segment in the show is called the Showcase Showdown, where you get all this shit and you have to put a bid on it. And he guessed it like to the dollar, like the correct amount.
Oh, wow.
And Drew Carey was like, "You're full of shit." Like, try to call him out for lying. I don't remember what happened with that. But it was a good documentary. It was crazy that this guy just had spreadsheets of how much things cost.
That is crazy. And because I was wondering, I was like, there's no way after like one time they're like, yeah, you're never going on again. But so he would just show up to the tapings and just shout it in the crowd. That's a good move, honestly.
Yeah, people started to know who he was. And I think he had to have gone on, but I don't know what happened. I mean, he would have known all the prices.
Yeah.
Price is Right.
They couldn't make a show like that today. With Amazon.
I mean, Bob Barker, I feel like it's kind of crazy just because people have dug up stuff about everybody. And it's like, Bob Barker is very cancelable. I'm not saying he should be. I think it's stupid because like everybody was sexist
It's just
in the 80s.
times. Yeah.
And
They had to be.
I have been watching a little bit of Jeopardy. Jeopardy was my show. I don't know. Do you have anything else on Price is Right? No. Do you have any questions for me? I'm just obsessing over it. I think it's like such a...
The set. You didn't talk about the set. You like?
I love the set design because it's like this 1970s looking. I mean, would you describe it as like 70s looking?
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of...
The colors are so
Joker.
aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that the right word?
Yeah, it's like red and pink. I feel like, like bright pink, those are like very intense.
Well, no, right behind
warm
him where
colors.
he stands, it's purple, orange, and green, and it's all very saturated colors. Yeah. And I don't know if that's just how they had to do it on TV back then because the colors weren't as good. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Or if it just... Probably not, but this was 1980, and when I watch it, it just seems like an even older...
It's probably like today there's like movement and graphics that can like move and like catch the audience. That's the pendulum, the pocket watch swinging to hypnotize you. So back then they just had to use those colors. It's kind of what I'm thinking. But Jeopardy, yeah, I watched.
That was like my favorite because when I was like at my grandparents, we would just like, because that was on like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So it was like after my grandma was chilled out, done cooking, cleaning, and we sat down. We all watched Jeopardy when I was like really little. So I always enjoyed watching that. And I followed like a lot of the champions pretty closely. We got the big 3. You got Ken Jennings. He won 74 matches in a row.
Wow.
And I think he earned the most on Jeopardy. That doesn't sound right. No, he didn't. He earned the second most on Jeopardy. Brad Rutter won the most, but he won a lot of the competitions that were like the Tournament of Champions where you win like $1 million. So his like total. And then the last guy was the James Holzhauer guy who he only won like 32 days in a row, but he almost won as much as Ken Jennings in that time. And he was just like, he's like a professional gambler or something. And he just would get all the high scores out of the way, right out of the way. Cause most people try to work down the board. The other thing too is Bob Barker, and I remember back on The Price is Right, because I'm obsessed, but he like gets mad at people and like, I don't know. I think it's probably he's directing everything while he's on stage. So like maybe that's just the difficulty of being a game show host. But look at that. See, he's like, fucking kiss me.
Yeah.
He makes everybody kiss him and he keeps his hand on their back the whole time. And when they lose a game, he'll just like kind of push him off. He'll grab him by the arm and push him off. So that's pretty funny, but
Dang. Plinko. Oingo boingo. What? See, okay, that's the other thing too. To make those moving graphics, they had to have things that they would slide in and out of the screen that would show the numbers and the lights. All these props had to have lights that were constantly flashing. It's not just, folks, it's not just the magic computer graphics, okay? They actually had to make things work. They had to make things move.
I kind of think he might have been a gambler too, because one time he's like, we've lost three in a row. We're in a slump. We got to bust this slump. And it just sounded like somebody that's losing a bunch of bets in a row.
Yeah.
Plinko, probably the most famous game, but also the mountain climber game. I don't know if you know that one.
Mm-mm.
Is like there's like
come over here, play Ice Climbers on the NES.
Yeah, there's a little guy going up a hill,
like a figure.
Yeah, a little guy going up, like cardboard cutout fucking thing, going up a hill, and you have to like stop it or whatever when the price is too high, or he like topples over. But there's yodeling in the background. That's like the music for it. So that's another.
That's funny.
Iconic game. I don't have much else to say about Jeopardy, but I do remember when.
Well, this is Price is Right.
That's fine. Back on Jeopardy.
I
know we're watching Price is Right.
Okay.
So I expect us to come back to Price is Right. But Jeopardy, I remember when they did IBM, the IBM Watson had to go against Ken Jennings, I think, and Brad. That was pretty cool. The robot kicked their ass. I think one of them maybe won a game. And one time, though, the joke of it too was like, because it was just like Google search, like when you type something in now. I mean, it wasn't like that impressive back then. It was probably like only like 15 years ago. It was like, what American city has like this something baseball team, or maybe it doesn't have anything about baseball. I don't know. And it said like Toronto was the answer. So like fucked it up. And Alex was giving him shit, the robot, IBM Watson. And then they did the greatest of all time tournament. And Brad Rutter proved that he's not as good as Ken Jennings, who won 3 out of 4 matches that they played.
Wow.
And Brad got last in every single one. But I like Jeopardy. The new host situation sucks, though.
Yeah, because they had that, was it the guy and then the girl? They were both going to do it, but then he was asked to resign.
Oh, I didn't know that even.
I think it's like part of this like humiliation ritual for show business. It's like, hey, we want you to join Jeopardy. Okay, now that you're the host. Oh, we actually found all these tweets and now we're going to have news outlets run these stories. Yeah. The guy, not the girl, the guy.
That's the guy that won Jeopardy 74 times in a row. It's Ken Jennings. What could he have fucking said that would cancel?
So he was supposed to host?
Yeah, he does host. I don't think he got canceled. I think you must have heard something else. I'm pretty sure because I looked at the Wikipedia page today and it said he's co-hosting. And then he's with Mayim Bialik, who's the Big Bang Theory chick. But yeah, I think they both host. So
not that I do not believe you. I just do not fully believe you. Hang on.
While you look up that, Price is Right, probably my favorite game show, but...
Sorry, Mike Richards is who it was.
I don't even know who the fuck that is, Mike Richards.
So that was in August of 2021.
Oh, well, that's when they were still trying out people, I thought, too, but...
Okay, that would make sense.
Because they went through a whole, like, thing of multiple hosts and guest hosts and stuff, and before they decided that's what they're gonna do. But I do see what you're saying now. Okay, I'm seeing it now. So I don't even know who the fuck this guy is, but yeah, you're right. So
it must have been very early on. It's like the thing they did with like Shane Gillis. I don't know.
Shane Gillis, is he going to host the Daily Show now that Trevor Noah's leaving? I saw. Is he? No. I saw
like a petition or
no. Flagrant just made that their video title. You know, the Andrew Schultz thing or whatever. Their video title was Shane Gillis is hosting the Daily Show. That's I googled it still because it's like, wouldn't that be crazy? But I knew it was going to be a joke. I knew it.
Yeah, they wouldn't let a potato eater. Now,
my second favorite game show is Deal or No Deal.
That one is cool. I remember, like, when you go to the bowling alley, the arcade games would have that, and I would play that, and my mom won so many tickets.
Dude, there's a Dave & Buster's I used to hit up. Baby, I would go crazy on the Deal or No Deal. I'd spend more time there than any other game. I love it. Because at the end of the day, the only question you have to ask yourself is deal or no deal.
What about Family Feud? That one has been done to death. It's just
Family Feud stinks now, but Steve Harvey's a great host, and I don't knock Steve Harvey at all. It's like, and honestly, I think we're just stealing a Cumtown bit at this point, but I think they said like they just set him up to respond outrageous. Like, right, they're like, what's something small, on your
but gets big.
Yes, that's those maybe the Cumtown angle of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and so then they're going to be like, my husband's penis, and then Steve's going to go, yo, what? I'm literally just...
Oh, hell no. It's like someone is telling him in his like earpiece, they're like, you need to fill 3.5 minutes, 3.5 minutes before commercial break, fill it. So then he's like, okay, that's how many laps.
I'm beside myself. Oh no.
What the?
God damn it.
The damn headphones falling out of the damn thing. That's the thing about live television.
You fucking
earpiece falls out.
Okay.
That's now I've completed my bit. I meant
It's still recording. There's nothing weird, right?
Right.
Okay.
Just our headphones got unplugged.
All right. Well, good Steve Harvey thing. Deal or No Deal. I'm going back to Deal or No Deal.
Yeah.
So.
Howie
Family
Mandel.
Feud, though. Family Feud's great. It is fun to watch with people. I think it's like the most fun to watch with people. And it's a fun board game. We've played the board game. Or it's
Yes.
not a board game, but
Deal or No Deal would have to be a fun board game.
Oh, I used to have it, and it came in a case, like the
Did
briefcases.
it have like smaller briefcases in order to like?
No, it just had what
Just
it
the
was is
one.
it had a briefcase that all the games stayed in, and all of the cards looked like briefcases. But the thing that was shitty about it was it didn't like you would have to draw, I think, to get your amount from the banker, and so that's not how the game works. The game is based on what cases you have left and don't have left and what offer the banker is going to give you. This you had to draw, so it could be like less or more. It was stupid. Yeah, I don't know. I just like Deal or No Deal. I think it's funny because like the whole time they're talking, it's so much like just repetitive bullshit where he's like, you've lost this much money, now you can get this much money. It's just the whole time they're just basically laying out like weighing odds. Where he's like, so you've got 4 cases that are worth more than this amount than the 120,000 he's offering you, but you've got 5 cases that are less. It's just like the whole show is just like self-explanatory. I love that it's just the most basic premise.
And Howie Mandel was a comedian before.
Yeah, but he like hadn't been doing anything forever. So he like reluctantly took the job on Deal or No Deal because he didn't want to just be a game show guy. He thought like that's when you admit that your career's dead. And then he like somebody did, I think, like a mock presentation of the game for him, and he like kind of got it. Why it was like such a brilliant concept for a show, and he ended up loving it. So, and his signature fist bump, how he's known for, because he's a germaphobe. Did you ever see that thing when they hypnotized him on America's Got Talent? Because he's like a germaphobe, you know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
Maybe it did because he was on Eric Andre, and I think they messed with that a little bit.
Yeah, because they probably trying to like shake his hand or something, and he's like, no.
Yeah.
And he's,
Hannibal Burrs probably. Yeah.
And but they hypnotized him on like one of the contestants on America's Got Talent, and they got him to shake somebody's hand. And then like when he came out of the trance, he was like pissed off. And a lot of people thought it was like fake, but I sort of think that hypnosis is, some people are more susceptible to it. I don't think I would be personally. And I've read before like what makes people susceptible to hypnosis, but this is all secondary. How about The Floor is Lava? You seen that show?
I have, yes.
You have?
Yes, I have.
Is it
That
a
is
new
insane. Yeah. I don't know how new it is. Maybe a few years, but I just like to think every time they fall in, they're just dead. That's it.
Do you remember, did you play The Floor is Lava as a
that
kid?
I did, yes.
And obviously when you come over to my apartment, you can speak to this. I make people jump from down pillow to down pillow to get to, a couch or a chair or whatever, because The Floor is Lava. And I still play that game as a 36-year-old man. I'm not really 36.
Blew your back out trying to avoid.
Did you ever watch, what about American Ninja Warrior? Now we're just off game shows. We're like into
I
the
loved
athletic.
American Ninja Warrior.
That show's great.
I loved watching it. I would actually make my own little obstacle courses like in my basement and try to do them. And I always wanted to do it. I wanted to go to Los Angeles where there was a gym there where you could do like the wall, like run up the half pipe or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to try it. And with the stick, you use the stick to like climb the ladder.
That would be maybe the worst thing I would be at that show. I mean, I think I would surprisingly be okay at like a lot of the climbing parts of it, but the strength part would come up short. But it would be fun to try it out.
Yeah. So any ninjas out there, Fortnite Ninja, let us use your course.
Speaking of Floor is Lava, I had a friend in grade school. We weren't playing The Floor is Lava, but we were throwing, I don't know why this made me think of this, but we were throwing clothes like up onto the ceiling fan and like having them fly up or whatever. And he like got up onto a coffee table and he just like slipped and like busted his chin open. He just has like just a deformed like ugly face now from it.
Is it
He just had stitches on his chin, so he just has like the scar, but it's fine. He's a piece of shit. And he also has like a needle dick, like a literal needle dick. Like his dick looks like a needle. It's very aerodynamic, but it's not a pretty penis. And I'm not gay or anything, but I can tell you that is an ugly looking penis. So fuck him. Trying to be aerodynamic dick ass motherfucker. Did you ever watch MXC?
No, what's that?
Oh my God. I'm not even gonna go into it too much. I'm just gonna make you watch some of it.
Okay.
It's basically like this Japanese game show.
Maybe I've watched it.
I think it's Japanese.
Maybe.
Not trying to be racist. Probably not Chinese though, for being honest. Japanese. And it's like the jump across things, get across the water, like try not to fall and slip in, but it's dubbed over like in like English,
yeah.
and it's not accurate to what they're saying at all. So it's just like a joke of like, so it's very like up our alley, like kind of funny. So yeah, we'll have to watch some clips of that and talk about it because Kenny Blankenship was one of the hosts on there. That's the name they gave the guy.
Wow.
So that's my game show segment. Can you think of any other game shows? Also, that's crazy. You said you saw that what's his name had been on Price is Right before.
Yeah, Aaron Paul.
He wasn't even famous yet, right?
No, he wasn't.
So
yeah, that was crazy. It's funny too because I imagine like I don't know if you were like just to make sure that he watches that first Price is Right video. I'm gonna send him the Aaron Paul one because like I kind of watched part of that first video and then I was distracted by the thing I'll talk about next. And then when you sent the Aaron Paul thing, I like instantly just like watched it and then like went back to the other one and like watched all of that one. And
yeah, it wasn't a tactic or anything. I figured,
though.
Yeah, I thought maybe you wouldn't watch the full one. I only sent the first video so you could kind of get a general idea of like what it looked like.
Yeah,
and Plinko is one of the most popular games on the show. So
it was cool to see. So, okay, this thing that I don't know, this is going to be, we're just going to go into this.
Okay.
Have you ever watched the Angry Video Game Nerd? Did you ever watch those videos?
I don't remember much, but I remember some of them, but
okay, but you know who he is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was watching this video. It was like a 2-hour video that I was like listening to and watching that was going over like all of the controversies that he's had. And so he hasn't really had a lot. I guess the biggest issue is that when his channel got super big, another company like bought out the Angry Video Game Nerd and like started writing scripts and stuff. So now it's like not as good as it like used to be because of that reason. And so one of the controversies, which I remember when I was a kid, I would watch those videos all the time. And there was like an app. Well, because his website was called cinemassacre.com because he wanted to do like horror movies and stuff. And the Angry Video Game Nerd was like one video that he had made, but since it went viral, he thought, okay, I'll stick with this formula. So I like bought his app and I was like always watching it. So in 2014, maybe 2011 or 12, they were working on a full length movie. And so his like business partner was running the YouTube channel to compensate for the lack of content. I guess this idea for a video stems from a video that involved James, that's the Angry Video Game Nerd's real name, James, and his business partner, Mike. They would like watch old Mario cartoons and they had a DVD. And since the company who made the Mario DVDs also made the Inspector Gadget animated show, the DVD menu had Inspector Gadget on it, and he would just like talk for everything that you would like move the cursor over. So it was like, so you want to watch from the beginning? You want to select the chapters? And so his business partner, Mike, had a pretty good Inspector Gadget impression. And so this had like a light bulb in Mike's head. So whenever he was running the channel, he made this video. It was like Inspector Gadget reviews Minecraft for iPad. And I remember watching it. And yeah, so he just had like an image of Inspector Gadget.png and his like terrible impression. And he's like trying to explain to him Minecraft on the iPad. And it's like 2 minutes long. And it's like it's so bad that it's so funny because at the beginning of the video, Inspector Gadget has no idea what Minecraft is. 10 seconds in, Inspector Gadget is talking about how much he loves Minecraft. And like one of the jokes is that he just says the same sentence, but like changes a word. And so it was like YouTube pooped, like it's a very YTP'd thing. And so I think one of the things, it's like bricks. He's like, I love laying bricks in Minecraft. I love laying shits in Mineshaft. I love putting bricks in Minecraft. Like that's all it is. And I guess since he was also the moderator of all like Angry Video Game Nerd forums, once a video came out, got a bunch of dislikes, he deleted it and like banned like all like conversation about this video. And he eventually like re-uploaded the video to the channel. And there was a Minecraft Inspector Gadget iceberg video that I watched, and it was just insane. I was like, wow, I can't believe I fucking have like been so invested for the last 3 hours of my life in this like insanely autistic hyper niche thing. But I remember watching it when it first came out and I was like, what was that? That was so weird. Do you like Inspector Gadget?
I hated that show, or I think I saw the movie before I ever saw the show. So I never liked it that much though. I didn't either. I'm surprised. I feel like you would like a Gadget guy. I
guess, yes. Yeah. I had the DVDs, but I didn't really like it too much. I watched it like once or twice.
Great theme song though.
Yeah.
Inspector Faggot.
Yeah.
All right, you can cut that. You can bleep faggot.
What was the last thing?
You don't have
Okay,
to.
the other thing, the weirdest thing of all is when he's showing him Minecraft, he's playing on the iPad and he's using like a pen. So not an Apple Pencil, like those, you know, those pens that have like the little rubber ball. He's like using that as well, which is like it's so weird. Everything about that video is just
Playing it on the iPad.
Yeah.
Okay, I found the video. I'm just looking at the thumbnail.
Okay. Okay. It's very.
Why does Inspector Gadget look like he's got like one ball hanging from his face?
That is what he used to look like in the cartoon.
I know, but
will
that's
say,
weird.
But I don't know. Yeah.
It's like Peter Griffin, but Peter Griffin's like fat, you know, but he's got the balls chin,
Yeah.
but he just has one nut. It's like he's fucking testicular cancer, lost a nut up on his face.
He is all sorts of fucked up.
I don't know that I care about most of this, but I will say this. I might have to go down an Inspector Gadget rabbit hole because I kind of want to know more about Inspector Gadget at this point.
Yeah, it was just less of a you need to know about this and more of a, well, this could eat up a good chunk of time. And what else do I have to show for this week?
The only thing I remember, this just made me think of it, is because I didn't really watch the Angry Video Game Nerd, but I just remember what was that fucking video that was like with all the songs? It was like the first like, oh, I'm going to play 30 different songs on my guitar right now. Oh, geez.
I kind of know, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the title.
And in that song, he references the Angry Video Game Nerd, and that's how
Okay.
I learned about Angry. That's just my only thing to contribute on this.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember how I found him. I found him on YouTube. I was just searching for like Mario this or something. And well, it's cool too, because like I would watch all of those videos, and then James would always have a lot of like lists about movies. And every October, every single day, and this is like, I don't know, like so ahead of the times, he would review like one horror movie every single day for the month of October. So like this was like during the time when YouTubers were expected to upload like once a week. So for him to be putting out like daily content like that was like insane. But that's how I learned about pretty much like every movie that I had seen. I would say like 60% of the movies that I've seen in my life I watched in 7th grade because I'd like watch his videos and he would like talk about the movies and I'd like go rent them and watch them.
I got fan mail.
Let's read it.
It's from Sarah. Our fan Sarah wants to know, hey, Steves, what's your stance on other Steves? Do you like them? Do you have beef with them?
Do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Well, I'll say this. There are a lot of fake Steves out there. We named the podcast Steve and Steven because that's our names.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Don't wear it out.
Don't wear it out. But the problem is everyone is named Steve. So I like some of them. I hate the others. Steve Burns from Blue's Clues.
Okay.
They're Steve and Steven.
Steve and Joe.
Steve. No. I'm sorry. Steve Burns and Steve, the fucking guy from the Flaming Lips, have a band and they're called Steve and Steven.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane. I truly had no idea that had been taken. I had an idea that like, I was like, there's no way that this is the first time this has been thought of, but
Right. I mean, it's a pretty easy pun to make, or like the end being Steven.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of Stevens. We're not the first, but
Right.
we're the most important and we're the most viral.
exactly. So
Did you see? Oh, well, I know you saw when Steve Burns came back. Hey, how you guys been?
oh my
I haven't
gosh.
seen you in 20 years and now I'm in chemo.
he's like, I'm not dead. That
Remember when I went to college? Can we talk about that?
the worst part
That
about
was
that
weird, right?
was like going to work and people were like, oh my gosh,
Did you see Steve
I cried. So stupid. I fucking can't believe people do that.
That is like the epitome of the nostalgia culture where people are just like, I watched this when I was a baby.
Yeah.
It's like, it'd be cool, I guess, but Steve Burns never went and did anything else, really.
Yeah.
He just went bald. That's why he left the show.
And also
He didn't go to college, folks. He was losing his hair.
it's like the inability to grow up. Like when I was a kid, I had a bunch of like Blue's Clues notebooks. I had like an inflatable thinking chair. I wore sweaters because of Blue's Clues. And when I saw that video come out, I was like, "This is fucking gay."
Did you see that there's a Blue's Clues movie coming out?
No, I didn't.
He's gonna be in it.
That's retarded.
Yeah, it's live action.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, it's as live action as it can be.
Yeah.
Blue is CGI though. Now Blue is like a 3D looking
Of course,
thing,
yeah.
and it looks like it might be some sort of musical. I was watching the trailer at work today without any sound, so I don't know, but it looked like at one point
The flaming lips.
Blue
show
was
up.
Blue was doing the gritty. or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
He was doing the stanky leg. He was doing
The default dance?
Yes, he was doing the TikTok dances.
Wow.
So it looks very bad, but
It's just weird. Yeah, nostalgia is so powerful that Like people literally cannot grow up. Like I said, like the point I was just trying to make is that as a kid, I was obsessed with Blue's Clues, but as an adult, when I saw that video came out, I had no interest in it. And it was just so strange seeing people who were older than me by a few years just like obsessing over that video, and just like it really struck a chord with me. Like, like they would jokingly say like, "Oh, I like cried," or "I shed a tear." But the point they're trying to make is that this video literally, like, I don't know, spoke to them, which is like,
yeah, it's stupid. It's literally a
ever.
guy standing in front of a green screen or whatever wallpaper, like fake shit they put behind him. He puts on his clothes and then he's just like, "Hey, remember when I went to college and I got cancer?" I don't know why that just is the joke.
He majored in cancer.
I feel like I kind of look like a young Steve Burns.
Maybe.
I'll show you a photo. I can find this photo of him. I kind of
Okay.
look like Steve Burns. It might just be narrow face kind of shit. But when I was a kid, I watched Blue's Clues every day. And when I saw that video of him, I did cry, but not really. But my grandparents had these, like, I don't even know where they got them, but like these paw print, like cut out like paper things. And my grandma would just like, before I would get there for the day, because my mom would drop me off before she would go to work, she would like put the 3 clues around the house and I'd have to like look under stuff or whatever. So yeah, that was a great time when I was 20 and I would go to my grandma's, and
That's how she'd get you to do the chores. There'd be one like the dirty bathroom, and so yeah. I also, the thing I didn't understand, that people were like, "I love Steve and I hated Joe." I just liked the show, so I wasn't too phased when they changed the cast up. I mean,
yeah, I don't know when Joe got on there, but that was about, I think, when I stopped watching. So I had a natural like dislike of Joe, but Joe is fine. I
Yeah.
don't remember. I mean, I had like a lot of them on like VHS and stuff too when I was really little.
I had some as well.
So it's just crazy because like, why would somebody buy a VHS with 3 episodes of Blue's Clues on it when it's on every day? And I don't know the difference, but I mean,
kids will watch stuff over and over and over again.
Yeah, and I did.
So that's probably why. I guess we didn't really I watched a video talking about the Packet Kid.
Oh, I rewatched the video.
What's his name?
Hey, you're handing out these packets. That's the future of this country.
Did you see the clip I sent you of him? I'm going to talk about this again because last week, because of the time frame, I wasn't able to clip it. So now I can clip it. I can't remember Jeff Bliss. His name was Jeff Bliss.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But there's this video. Someone interviewed him. And so we were spot on, by the way, with the prediction that you actually said that he had just been late to class like every single day, after giving this impassioned speech.
Yeah.
He had dropped out of high school and then went back. And so I think he was 18 years old in like a sophomore class. And there's this interview with him and he's like, yeah, when I dropped out, I knew education was important. So I had to come back. And I went from getting F's to getting A's, B's, C's. It's like,
wait, I did see that, but I don't know why I'm blanking on it. You sent me on Instagram or something?
yeah, no, I sent the video to you on, or not Instagram, through text. I clipped. I was like, that is too funny. And then in this video trying to like explain where he went, it was like someone on Reddit said that they work with him at UPS and that he doesn't like to talk about the video. So don't ask me any questions because this is a fake story. So
I'm a future UPS driver and you're handing out freaking packets. I'm going to hand out a
hand
package.
me a package. Yeah, not a packet. Yo, let us freaking learn the addresses, yo. For real. But I guess the school's the teacher got put on like a short leave. Like,
that's bullshit.
I know. And she's
literally just like, get out of my class. Like, just listen to the teacher.
Yeah.
That's fine, but I'm going to say something. You're just handing out freaking packets. I don't know why. It's always going to be funny to me.
It is.
It's crazy. It's just crazy too that people are like, see, this is just a testament about how bad education is. And it's like, yeah, education sucks and teachers suck. A lot of them. And a lot of them just do hand out freaking packets.
But this guy's not a genius. And what has happened since shows. Because I also, some news coverage was with him after that incident. He was like, I'm going to be an educator. I'm going to go to college. And like,
but now he's just handing out freaking packets.
Yeah. Handing out freaking packages, yo. And I don't know. But he seemed to kind of, I guess, like according to his Twitter, at first he kind of like played into the whole like, yes, I'm gonna go be a teacher, then kind of like fell out of that pretty quickly. So I guess the video I was watching, it was kind of just saying like, this is what happens when people just sensationalize someone. And the YouTube comments on that video are just like so awful. It's like, I would love to shake this young man's hand, and just like stupid shit like that. Like,
Jesus.
It's awful. I had a bit about MrBeast that I still might run. And so in order to figure out like how he talks and stuff, I watched this like documentary on him. And so some of his earlier videos, he would just like go up to homeless people and like give him like $10,000. And even so like that's kind of the same thing, right? Where you like look at who's like lowest of the hierarchy and you help them. Even he was like, yeah, this is very selfish of me. Like, this is what makes me feel good, is like helping people like that. You know, he's at least like acknowledging like what's kind of going on. In a way, it's more about him feeling good about helping people as opposed to like just helping people, you know? And I think it's important.
But he still does that stuff, right?
Yeah, he does.
So how guilty can he fucking feel? I mean, I guess it's better he acknowledges it than not, because it's more obvious from the outside. I mean, honestly, the millions of people that watch his videos are probably idiots, and they're just like, oh, it's so cool he does this. But I feel like anybody that can suss out the fact that he's clearly doing it for views, like he can make that money back. Like,
which okay, and the documentary was obviously like very pro him, but according to what he was saying, he would often kind of like, break even, but he knew like, okay, the more money I give, the more views it's going to get. So a lot of times he didn't profit a whole lot initially. I mean, now obviously it's paid off significantly, but he seemed to be pretty good at like restraining himself in terms of like, this company gave me $10,000. I'll give this homeless person $1,000 and pocket $9. It was, I guess, according to him, this company said, we'll give you $5,000. And he was like, give me 10 so I can like give it all to a homeless person, because that video is going to go viral. And they did. And so like, what was the other thing? The other thing too, I will say about him that is overall positive is that what him and like his mom were talking about was like a lot of people, they would hear stories about like kids who watch his videos, and then it's like they go and like volunteer and stuff like that. So it's like they'll watch his videos, see that he's helping people, then they want to go and do stuff like that, which I feel like is a net positive, because a lot of content creators like to just show off all the materialistic items that they have. And so it's good that one of the biggest channels is like at least putting the idea of helping people in young children's brains, even though their brains are probably getting fried by the like frantic graphics moving around and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Yeah, I saw the one where he, I don't know how recent it was in my suggested for some reason. And it was like, I'm going to give somebody like $1 million if they stay in this house for like 100 days or something ridiculous like that. So I don't know how that would work, or if they stay in this circle and then you find out that he's dropping off a house there with like food and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe he like wanted to buy that land, and it's like, well, you have to prove that someone lived there for 30 days. And he's like, okay, I've got an idea. Like, if you could stay in this circle for 30 days.
Was he the first person to do this model of like, I'm giving away shit kind of thing? Or was Dobrik? Dobrik was pretty early on that too.
Yeah, he was too. And then surprisingly, like a lot of YouTube pranksters, because I feel like that was their way of like balancing their moral compass. It's like video 1, like I went to the hood and called black people the N-word. Then video 2, it's like I gave a homeless person $100 to make the world a better place. So they would do that a lot. So yeah.
Shout out MrBeast.
Shout out MrBeast. Thanks for helping the channel. We knew he was a big fan of the garden, the fartin. So
MrBeast, if you want to give me $10,000, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Please.
Thanks.
Are we done?
We're done.
Thank you guys.